FPL Midfielders guide with 3 players you should buy, monitor and avoid this pre-season for the Deal Sheet series. Let's get straight into it by looking at the bronze buy pick, which goes to Newcastle United's Anthony Gordon at 7.5 million. He's the second most owned midfielder in the game in around 36% of sides, and it's easy to see why when you consider his 27 goal involvements last season. Now, there was some overperformance here from an expected goal involvement tally of around 15, and there could be a little bit of a hangover from the Euros. He was, of course, with the England squad, but only managed 1 minute of action. But the appeal is in the fixtures as well. Southampton at home followed by Bournemouth away, the opening 2, means that it's highly viable to go with a double up on Newcastle United attackers, potentially with Isak and Gordon, who are both proving to be very, very popular. Now, Gordon's predicted points by AI are 21.1 over the opening 4 game weeks of the season. You can get the full predictions from Fantasy Football Hub's AI with 50% off right now using the link in your description below. And if you win your mini league, you'll get your money back. He is ranked 8th among midfielders for this predicted points over the opening 4 game weeks, and that's even better when you consider most of the players above him are more expensive. The bronze pick on the monitor list goes to Chelsea's Christopher Nkunku, who has been reclassified as a midfielder this season, having been listed as a forward in the game last season. He's also seen a price drop to 6.5 million. That's 4 million cheaper than Cole Palmer, and he's popular within the FPL community. Still a bit of a differential overall in around 13% of sides, and it's going to be most interesting to see where he's going to play, because we expected him initially to be a 10 when he signed for Chelsea last season. Obviously, an injury hampered season mean that he didn't play many minutes. Cole Palmer is now the recognised number 10 at Chelsea, but Nkunku could play off the wing. He could still play as the centre forward and be out of position. He has a goal already in pre-season. We need to realise that Chelsea do play Manchester City at home in game week 1, so it's not the easiest of opening fixtures, and with his injury issues, it'll be important for him to get a full pre-season under his belt. So you may not want to invest straight away, but at this price point with his potential, he may be worth the risk anyway from game week 1. He's predicted to score 19.7 points over the opening 4 game weeks, which ranks him 13th among midfielders. On to the avoids, and in bronze position, it's Liverpool's Luis Diaz, who's in 8% of sides right now. He comes in as a midfielder with so much potential, but there's just so many question marks at Liverpool right now. Under the new manager, Arne Slot, how attacking are they going to be? We're expecting them to improve maybe in this area compared to the Klopp era, because Slot is more of an attacking manager. However, there's 4 players potentially competing for 2 positions if we assume that there's going to be a Liverpool front 3 and Salah is a lock. So you've got Gakpo, you've got Darwin, Jota and Diaz. And Diaz was part of the Colombia team in the Copa America that were defeated in the final to Argentina. So we're not going to see him in pre-season training for a while. We could see an extended break for him. He's predicted to score 18.7 points over the opening 4 game weeks, which places him 16th, but minutes is going to be so crucial to those points potential. Into silver and on the buy list is Arsenal's Martin Odegaard. He is possibly going to be the Arsenal attacker I go with at the start of the season if I decide I really need an Arsenal attacker, because we know Saka had his fitness concerns last season, played a lot of minutes in the Euros, so there's no guarantees he's going to be around for game week 1, which could help Odegaard in terms of his set-piece involvement. I'd love to see him as a number 10. I think a lot of that depends on if Arsenal sign a traditional number 9 in the window, or if they continue with Havertz, more in that false 9 role. If we see Odegaard deeper, he does lose his appeal, but he did create plenty of chances in the tail end of last season, being in the midfield 3 rather than a winger or a 10. So there's a few moving parts here. He's actually predicted to score 21.1 points over the opening 4 game weeks, which places him 8th among midfielders. I think the other thing that we need to bear in mind here is the fixtures, because Arsenal have got a tricky kind of opening run of fixtures in the wider fixture run, but game week 1 and game week 3, they've got Wolves at home and Brighton at home, 2 fixtures that have bags of potential. So if you feel like you need an Arsenal attacker for those fixtures, Odegaard's probably the one to go to with a full pre-season under his belt. The silver position on the monitor list goes to Crystal Palace talisman Eberechi Eze, a very popular pick in pre-season, in around a third of sides. The pre-season hype does surprise me though, because I've got a few question marks about Crystal Palace going into this season. We've got Mateta currently playing for France at the Paris 2024 Olympics. So whether he's going to be around for game week 1, we don't know. Elise has moved on. That does help Eze in terms of set pieces, but you're taking 2 very key players for Palace in the run-in out of this side. What is the potential for Eze? So it's something I need to monitor in pre-season. And again, Eze was with the England squad at the Euro, so he's not even in pre-season training yet. The early fixtures are of course there for Palace, and interestingly on the AI predictions, he's predicted to score 24 points over the opening 4 game weeks. That's the best prediction of any midfielder priced under that 9.5 million premium bracket, 7th overall. So the AI likes him, the community likes him. I'm still on the fence. On the avoid list is Manchester City's Rodri. I feel like I bang this drum every pre-season. He's predicted to score 16.7 points over the opening 4 game weeks, which ranks him 25th of the midfielder predictions. He's in 8% of sides. For me, defensive-minded midfielders have no place in FPL. He went deep into the Euros, lifted the trophy for Spain. Didn't play in the second half of the final, though, against England, so we don't even know about his fitness. And let me tell you, when he's absent from the Manchester City starting 11, they find it very difficult to get those same results as they do with Rodri in their side. The fixtures are mixed as well for City to start the season. I was wrong about him last season though, because I said again avoid him. He managed 18 goal involvements last campaign, which is ridiculous. We did see him having a little bit more of a license to roam into the box, which certainly helped him with the goal involvement, set piece threat as well. But it does feel like a waste of a City slot, because there are going to be times this season where we're probably going to want to triple up with a defender, probably a Foden and a Haaland. And if you've got Rodri in there, it does make you quite inflexible. But maybe with 5 free transfers you can get away with it. But for me, he's a no-go. Staying with the avoids and looking at the gold pick, it's Manchester United's Kobbie Mainoo. Now, we tend to get a lot of hype on Manchester United assets at the start of every FPL season because they are the most supported club in the Premier League. So naturally, fans want a slice of the action, and a very impressive Euros all round for him has piqued people's interest. But again, he's a defensive-minded midfielder. We haven't seen that explosivity of box-to-box role with lots of goal involvements yet from him. Played about half of the minutes for United last season, the 4 goal involvements as well. He's in 8% of sides at the moment. Period of change at Manchester United could see things run in his favour, but with a lack of pre-season, I don't think he's going to be a player that's viable from the off. Predicted to score just 10.3 points, gets nowhere on the overall AI midfield rankings either. Moving on to the monitor list, this may surprise you. Cole Palmer is only a monitor for me. Gold position though, because obviously he's got so much potential, being the best player in FPL last season, and he's the most popular midfielder in the game. But when will he arrive in pre-season training for Chelsea? New manager could mean a new playing style, which could mean that Cole Palmer isn't as potent in attack as he was last season. We don't know about his positioning. And with that big price rise, the biggest price rise in FPL history, from 5 to 10.5 million, 4 million more expensive than Nkunku, I'm not sure whether it's absolutely essential to invest from the off. City at home in game week 1. His former employers, he could be fired up for that game. We've seen it before. But for now, I think I'm just going to wait and see. Completing the deal sheet then as the gold position buy pick is Liverpool's Mo Salah. He tops the predictions as well on Fantasy Football Hub's AI. 31.6 predicted points over the opening 4 game weeks of the season. The fixtures are ridiculously good for Liverpool. Salah a full pre-season under his belt, and the only question mark, I guess, is where is he going to play under Arne Slot? Is he going to be central? Is he going to be wide? Does he keep penalties? But it's just been so consistent in his Liverpool career that it's really difficult to ignore him. Last season, his underlying numbers were incredible, despite being criticised for having a poor season. I don't think he did. Obviously, he had that little bit of an injury from the African Cup of Nations, his first significant time out as a Liverpool player. In terms of the predictions, he's the top predicted player for game week 1 and game week 3, so a very good captain pick. And if you are going no Haaland, he is a great captain alternative for game week 2 as well, where he plays Brentford at home, always starts the season strongly. So if you don't go Haaland, I think you have to go Salah. Here's the deal sheet in full then for the midfielders. If you are interested in looking at the rest of the Fantasy Football Hub AI predictions, you can get those for all players using the link in the description to this video. There's 50% off memberships right now for pre-season. And if you don't win your mini league, you will get your money back. Give this one a like. Let's smash 500 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well if you don't already. We're on the road to 35k subscribers for the game week 1 deadline. And let me know in the comments which midfielders make your first draft. Thank you for watching.